Somewhere over a quiet stretch of open sky, a test pilot pushed a business jet into a dive, and something happened that wasn't supposed to happen. The aircraft went supersonic. Not a fighter jet, not a military prototype. A private jet, the kind built for CEOs, billionaires, and heads of state, briefly broke the sound barrier during flight testing, hitting a speed of Mach 1.015. That jet is real. It's flying right now. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why pilots call it one of the most unsettling machines ever built for civilian travel, not because it's dangerous, but because of what it's capable of, what it does to the human body, and how quietly it can move through the sky at altitudes most commercial airliners can't even reach. This is the story of the Bombardier Global 8000. Stay until the end, because this aircraft's cabin that most owners don't even know about, a system designed specifically to trick your own body clock. Let's begin. The machine that shouldn't be this fast, the Global 8000, is Bombardier's flagship aircraft. And it currently holds a title that hasn't belonged to a civilian jet in decades. The fastest civilian aircraft in production since Concorde. Its certified top speed is Mach 0.95, roughly 627 miles per hour. Its typical cruising speed is Mach 0.85. To put that into perspective, most commercial airliners cruise around Mach 0.78 to Mach 0.80. This jet moves faster than the plane you flew on your last vacation, and it does it while carrying a private bedroom, a shower, and a conference room. But the unsettling part isn't the top speed. It's how that speed was discovered. During flight testing, engineers pushed a Global 8000 test aircraft into a controlled dive to study its aerodynamic limits. In that dive, the aircraft briefly exceeded the speed of sound, reaching Mach 1.015. For a moment, a private jet, the kind meant to carry passengers in total comfort, was moving faster than sound itself. It never does this in normal operation. It's not designed to. But the fact that it could, even briefly, tells you everything about how this aircraft was engineered, right at the edge of what a subsonic jet is physically capable of. A range that erases the map, speed is only half the story. The other half is distance, and this is where the Global 8000 becomes almost impossible to comprehend. Its maximum range is 8,000 nautical miles. That's roughly 14,800 kilometers, or about 17 hours in the air, without landing, without refueling, without stopping. To understand what that means, look at the routes this aircraft can fly non-stop. New York to Hong Kong, Los Angeles to Sydney, London to Perth, Dubai to Houston, Singapore to San Francisco, Thies are routes that most commercial passengers can only complete with at least one layover. The Global 8000 does them in a single flight, at high speed above the weather. And that's not a small detail, it flies above the weather. Its maximum service ceiling is 51,000 feet. Most commercial airliners cruise between 35 and 40,000 feet. This jet climbs more than 10,000 feet higher into thinner air, above most storm systems, above most turbulence, above almost everything else in the sky. At that altitude, in near silence, carrying up to 19 people across oceans without a single stop, it starts to feel less like an aircraft and more like something built for a different era of travel altogether. The wing designed to absorb turbulence. Here's something most people don't know about how this jet stays so smooth at extreme speed and altitude. It comes down to the wing. The Global 8000 uses what Bombardier calls a smooth flex wing. It's a supercritical wing design that behaves almost like a shock absorber built directly into the airframe. Instead of the aircraft rigidly fighting against turbulence, the wing flexes to absorb it, smoothing out the ride in a way that's unusual for an aircraft this large and this fast. That same wing design also gives the Global 8000 a strange advantage. Despite being one of the largest and longest-range business jets in the world, it can take off and land in surprisingly short distances. Its takeoff distance is around 5,760 feet, and its landing distance is just 2,220 feet, short enough to access smaller. more restrictive airports that most ultra-long-range jets simply can't use, including tightly constrained runways like London City Airport. So this is an aircraft that can fly higher than airliners, faster than airliners, farther than almost anything else in its class, and still land somewhere small enough that most large jets wouldn't dare attempt it. Power. 2 engines doing something unusual. None of this is possible without the engines. The Global 8000 is powered by 2 GE Passport turbofan engines, each producing close to 18,900 pounds of thrust, controlled by full-authority digital engine control systems computers that manage the engines in real time for efficiency, response, and safety. These engines are tuned for a strange combination of goals that don't usually go together: high-speed cruise performance, low fuel burn, reduced emissions, and reduced noise. Most aircraft engineers will tell you that speed and efficiency usually pull in opposite directions. The Global 8000's engines are built to fight that trade-off, to push the aircraft close to the sound barrier while still keeping it efficient enough for transoceanic, non-stop flights. Inside the cabin, 4 separate worlds. Now let's go inside, because the cabin of this aircraft is arguably stranger than the flight deck. The Global 8000 has 4 completely separate living zones inside a single aircraft. A club suite with reclining seats, some featuring a zero-gravity seating position designed to reduce strain on the spine during long flights. A conference or dining suite, with a table that can seat up to 6 people for meetings or meals. An entertainment suite with a large berthable divan and a high-definition display. A private principal suite, a full bedroom with a real bed, dedicated seating, and in some configurations, its own lavatory with a stand-up shower. 4 zones. 1 aircraft. 19 possible passengers, though most owners configure it for 8 to 14. The cabin itself measures roughly 45 to 54 feet long, over 8 feet wide, and just over 6 feet tall enough for most adults to stand upright and walk the length of the aircraft without stooping. The part that plays tricks on your body. This is the section I mentioned at the beginning, because the most unsettling and honestly, most impressive engineering in this entire aircraft isn't the speed or the range. It's what the cabin does to your biology during a 17-hour flight. At cruising altitude, most aircraft cabins are pressurized to feel like you're sitting somewhere around 6,000 to 8,000 feet above sea level. That thinner air is a major reason long flights leave people exhausted, dehydrated, and disoriented. The Global 8000 does something different. While cruising at 41,000 feet, its cabin altitude is pressurized to feel like as low as roughly 2,700 to 2,900 feet, one of the lowest cabin altitudes of any business jet in the world. Your body, breathing air that feels almost like sea level, doesn't experience nearly the same fatigue. Then, there's the air itself. The cabin uses a hospital-grade HEPA filtration system called ProAir, capable of removing the vast majority of airborne particles and continuously replacing the air inside the cabin rather than recirculating the same air for hours, the way many aircraft do. And then there's the lighting. The cabin includes a system called Soleil, a circadian lighting system that gradually shifts in color and intensity throughout the flight to match your destination's time zone, subtly nudging your body's internal clock before you've even landed, in an attempt to reduce jet lag. Pressurization engineered to feel like sea level, air that's almost entirely replaced rather than recycled. Lighting quietly reprogramming your body clock mid-flight. On a 17-hour non-stop journey between continents, this aircraft isn't just moving you through the sky, it's actively working to change how your body experiences that time. The cockpit, flying by wire, guided by computers. Up front, the pilots operate from what Bombardier calls the Vision Flight Deck, a cockpit built around 4 large avionics displays, fly-by-wire controls, synthetic and enhanced vision systems, a head-up display, and weather radar capable of detecting wind shear from a distance. Fly-by-wire means the pilots aren't mechanically connected to the control surfaces at all. Every input is processed through computers before it moves anything on the aircraft. Combined with automated pilot assist routines and predictive landing performance calculations, this cockpit is closer to something you'd expect on a next-generation airliner than a private jet. So that's the Bombardier Global 8000. An aircraft that can accidentally break the sound barrier in a dive, fly non-stop between almost any two major cities on Earth, climb higher than commercial airliners to ride above the weather, land on runways most large jets can't touch, and quietly manipulate your own biology to make a 17-hour flight feel like almost nothing happened at all. It currently sits at the very top of what's possible in civilian aviation. And the strangest part might be this. An aircraft engineered this close to supersonic speed, this far above the clouds, was actually built for one purpose: comfort. If you found this as unsettling and fascinating as I did, make sure to subscribe because we're covering more of the world's most extreme aircraft in upcoming videos, including some that fly even higher, and some that were never meant to be flown by humans at all. Thanks for watching.